how do you effectively hire and run a team that will continue not only just to work efficiently, but that align with your passions and your framework for what you do?
So the hiring part, they have to care. And it's hard to make someone care as much as you do if they don't have a part of it, or if they're not bought into the thing. So the biggest part for me on hiring is people that are what I call ride or die. Will this person answer the phone at 11 o'clock at night? Will this person travel to do this thing? Will this person go to the convention booth to fix the plumbing situation if there was a leak? Like, will this person do the things that are extraordinary, that are not part of our normal society right now, where it's like, I want to work 9 to 5, 3 days a week from home. Mm-hmm. That doesn't work for me. You can do that, but that's not how I live.
Yeah.
And especially when I'm trying to really build things and scale things. And so when I'm hiring, I'm looking for people that are bought into the mission and that they're going to work well with everyone else involved. We have a no jerks policy. If you tell me drama, one of you is getting fired. Either you have to fix it and we can talk about it, but I have to be efficient in the business. Yeah. And so it's rare that because I'm really clear about it. Like, I don't do drama. Mm-hmm. I don't have time for drama, and it's not good for you. And there's always going to be problems and issues. And if you guys can't fix it, then we have to move on. Someone has to move on,
right? Or
be separated, because I'm not going to play principal. Mm-hmm. And keeping them. Most of my staff has been with me for 4 to 15 years. We have a very low turnover rate. I can name the couple people that have ever left. And they left because I pushed them to go because there was a huge thing for them. Mm. It's really rare. Actually, yeah, that's like 3. Mm. And so because of that, I'm making it sure that they're paid correctly, they feel a part of it, and it's fun. And if any one of those things isn't there, then they're going to want to venture off. And they all get bribed to try to leave, right? People try to steal my staff all the time. Mm-hmm. But the reason that they stay is they're part of it, and going to get a salary increase is not necessarily the happiness factor.
Nice. You've in your career, in your lifetime, you probably could name drop with us for the next hour and not run out of names that we would recognize. I'm sure you've learned a lot of lessons from a lot of people who have done a lot of things. Do you have like a couple of core lessons that you have learned that you'll pass down to the next generation, or that stick out more than others?
Sign contracts with everyone, including your mom. Mm-hmm. It's not that you're ever going to sue your mom. It's the concept that, I'll give you a real life example.
Okay.
Mom, I'm going to clean up my room this week, and on Friday, can you give me a salad? Mom, I just want to make some money. I'm just going to clean my room for the next 5 days. So I say that, and I think I'm going to get an allowance from her. And I go clean my room for 5 days in a row. And I come to her on Friday and say, Mom, can I have my $25 in allowance? $25, I was going to give you $5. Who's wrong? Who's right or who's wrong? Both of us. We're both right, we're both wrong. I thought I was getting $5 today. She thought it was $5 for the week. She thought she was actually doing me a favor because it should be free. I should clean my room anyways. Now, if I would have said, hey, Mom, it's Monday. I'm going to clean my room for the next 5 days in a row. Can I have $25? No. I give you $5. And then we can make a little thing. I'm not going to sue my mom, but there's communication. And the problem for most times in society, we just don't communicate. So we either have no communication or lack of communication, or we assume the other person thinks the same thing we do, which is never true under any circumstance. And so having clarity in signing a contract, it's really just what's called a scope of work. So an SOW, a scope of work, is understanding what we're doing. So you either have an MOU, memorandum of understanding, or a scope of work. Neither of those are you ever going to sue the person, but it happens all the time. The best man in my wedding, I had to avoid putting him in jail because he stole so much money from me. Mm. My partner before that, we went public, huge company, blah, 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 stole $831,000. Mm. So my 2 biggest companies, my 2 closest people that are literally, I was the best man at his wedding, this person was the best man at my wedding. Both of them stole $631,000, $830,000. So I say that because even the people closest in your world, you have basic agreements, you have clarity, and even then, bad things can happen. And so in my world, I have very clear cut, I'm going to do this, you're going to do this, and this is what's going to happen. And I've had 17 lawsuits, and I've won 17 times. and I'll win every lawsuit for the rest of my life because of some very basic things. I'm very clear up front. I'm very clear along the way, and I'm always going to do the things that I said I'm going to do. Things can happen, I can mess up, problems can happen, etc., but nothing that was ever intentional. If you make very clear-cut decisions with everyone in your life, significant others, children's, parents, friends, employees, vendors, clients, everyone, I'm going to do this, and this is what's going to happen, and this is what I want you to do. Most of the time we just say, hey mom, I'm going to do this thing by Friday. Hey vendor, can you make my shirts by Friday? Hey person, can you do this by Friday? And we don't say exactly the details, and then we get upset with them on Friday. How are they supposed to know? They're not a mind reader. And so everything in my life is like, I'm going to do this. And we call it over-communicating in my company. We call it over-communicate. And a lot of times Shannon will text me in advance, and she'll say the word over-communicating. Like, hey, you're going to be here at 8 a.m. You're going to be at, this is the address. This is the hotel. This is your flight. Over-communicating. I already have my flight. I already have the address. I already have the hotel. We're over-communicating on every step of the way. If you implement these basic things in your life, communication, it's kind of everything I just talked about is always about communication. I'm going to do this. This is what I want. This is where I want to be. And it will remove so much friction in your life, so much drama, so much gossip, so much, I think she wants this, or I think he told me this. I don't do I thinks. I know. I know the address of this place. I know what time I'm supposed to be here. I know what the schedule is. I know where my hotel is. I know what time I'm doing a meeting after. Like, I know. And by doing that, it makes my life a lot smoother, where I can be calm in the chaos. Even when things change or problems happen, I have extreme clarity every step of the way.
Nice. When I see a lot of videos from people like you on, and you know, Ed Milet, all the people, a lot of times it comes off like I had this challenge early on, and now everything's been rosy since.
Yeah, right.
I think it's important as people are going through their entrepreneurial journey for us to put out there, like, no, there's struggles sometimes every week, sometimes every day, sometimes once a month, but you always have challenges and overcome. What are challenges you face right now at your level on a regular basis that you have to overcome?
Okay. Every single morning that I wake up and I turn over that cell phone, I'm putting out fires every single day, especially because there's so many companies, there's so many moving parts. Live events, sports cards, social media influencers, acai bowls, restaurants, investments. There's so many different things that are happening. And with that comes a lot of people on every side of it. Vendors, clients, customers, attorneys, accountants. There's so many different moving parts and humans on every single side of each thing that every single day, I'm putting out fires, especially right in the morning. And so with that, the biggest problem to deal with is humans. Every single day, there's problems and situations amongst humans. The vendor didn't ship this thing on time. The client hasn't paid. The client said they're going to pay next week. Now there's a cash flow issue because you still have to pay. I got to pay the manufacturer for the thing that they're supposed to pay for. Hell, I have this event. This celebrity wants to get paid. Well, that's $100,000, but I haven't been paid on the tickets from Ticketmaster yet. Okay, can you wire in $100,000 and loan it to us for the week while we wait for Ticketmaster? Sure. 1 week goes by. Hey, Ticketmaster needs 30 days. We forgot, we didn't sign the contract, and so it's 30 days from now. Great. And so now that $100,000 is locked up, celebrity was paid, event happened, Ticketmaster's holding the capital. 30 days goes by, Ticketmaster's like, actually, we're just going to hold this as a reserve for your next event next year because we have a new policy. What? Boom, boom, like.
Wow.
And so it's every step of the way is dealing with people. It's putting out fires, situations. And the way I say it is staying calm in the chaos. I know there's going to be problems. If you know there's going to be problems, if you know there's going to be issues, you can stay a bit calmer when things are going awry. And it will allow you to think clearly. Again, the biggest problem in these situations is human emotion and ego. I go into each situation understanding how to deal with the human themselves to get the end result that I want that's also good for them. Mm-hmm. And too often people only try to do what's good for them. They don't realize if you don't do what's good for the other person on the other side, there's going to be problems.
Yeah, that's great. Great advice. When we went to Roger's event in Miami, you and I pulled up at the same time, and the truck was out front and the brakes were on fire. And I remember, we were like, well, at least, at least that one thing that was going to happen, that one challenge happened early in the day, it's over with, and the rest of it went great. So, yeah, I think that's great advice. You just have to expect that not everything's going to go perfect and be ready to deal with it.
There's no such thing as perfect.
Yeah. You say that now, but when you have your baby girl in August, you're going to change. There will be such a thing as perfect.
when things scale, things break. It's just how it is. Anything that expands has friction. It breaks. No matter what you're doing, in anything in your life, when you scale it, things break. And so if you go in knowing that that's going to happen, and you go in knowing that this thing is going to break or expand, and there's going to be more hires, more employees, more vendors, more accountants, more lawyers, more this, more that, well, things break. And just going and understanding that and expecting it, it will take a lot off your shoulders, because if we go in thinking everything's going to be perfect, there's no such thing as perfect.
Yeah.
It's literally not possible, because things break as you scale.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about your baby girl. You're going to be a dad for the first time. Oh, yeah. Congratulations. In August. I'm super excited that it's a little Leo girl like us.
It's going to be almost
Jasmine and I are Leos. You too? Yeah.
It might be exactly on your birthday, actually. Might be.
You think so? Oh, I hope so. You'll have to really tell me. I'm going to be sending you a lot of airplane little pacifiers and stuff. How are you preparing for a role that you haven't been in yet? This is new for you.
So I already got her Instagram name.
Which is?
Baby Girl Boss.
Baby Girl Boss.
I just think the beginning time, the first few months, there's just not much for me to do. There's her mom, my mom, her sister, a whole crew's there's a village there. So I'm fifth in line to touch the baby. But as soon as she's allowed to, I'm going to take her on tour, right? I'm going to take her on podcasts, I'm going to take her on stages and have a lot of fun bringing more women into business and investing. I'm going to have her interview Gary Vee. When she's 1 year old. And so to me, I'm going to incorporate her into my world and try to have fun with that part of it. But ultimately, I don't know. Everyone's been telling me how much it's going to change me, and so I don't want to pretend like I know until I see it. But I've heard a lot of what's going to happen. But
yeah, what are you most excited about?
I want to take her on tour. I think it'd be fun to wear those little baby backpack on stage.
Is it going to be branded? Is hashtag Baby Girl Boss? You're going to be a whole line. So with that, as you're raising your daughter and showing her off and loving her to death, do you feel like you've learned lessons in your life that you want to make sure you implement into your children?
Yeah, well, they're going to grow up in a very interesting society, right? She's going to grow up in an age of AI and things that we don't even know how fast things compound. Just technology compounds at an alarming rate. And so she's going to grow up very different than I did. I grew up and we only went home because the sun was going down, or if the lights went on, that's when we knew we had to go home, right? She's going to grow up with magical cell phones that are embedded into her eyeballs, who knows? And so I'm interested to see what happens in society of where we're going to be at that time when she's rational and thinking, when she's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, etc. In the first couple of years, obviously, it's going to just be goo goo gaga fun. But I don't know yet. I really just think about the society part. And I'm going to try to build a school at the ranch and let other kids come there. I won't put her in public school. Especially just the area that we're in.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be... Yeah. And really just trying to allow her to choose, even though I'm embedding her into the business side, she shouldn't have to be a business person. That's up to her what she ends up doing. I just want to show her the world from the business perspective and then let her choose. Yeah,
that's great. I have 5 kids, 7 grandkids, and I think what I learned as a young mom was that the people at their school and the people that they were playing sports with and the friends that they were spending time with, I was working a lot. They were at school and with their friends and playing sports, and I didn't realize how much more influence those people had on my children than I did, because I thought, I'm the mom, I'm the one that's making your rules and building your foundation, but truth be told, they were with me a fourth of the time, and with these other people, most of their day, and the influence was really strong. So I think that's a a good call on your part. And obviously you're such an energy, and that you're going to bring in. Are there any celebrities you won't introduce her to? I'm just kidding. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Scratch that one. Sorry. With a little girl, Stella Jets, we're all about empowering women, empowering girls, diversifying. We're not about taking men out, we're about adding women in, because I think together we make the best decisions, the best teams. We can scale faster. I know you know that. I know that's how you've scaled a lot of your companies. So how will you, and I'll take it a step further. Part of me wanting to be an entrepreneur and not just have a business but build a business was I wanted my daughters and my granddaughters and your daughters and their daughters and granddaughters and sons to have a place where they loved coming to work and didn't have to go to a place and decide I have to go there because I need the money, but I have to deal with situations that are not ideal or that make me uncomfortable or whatever. So I really wanted to build an environment to where I could trust my kids could come to work here and have a great time and not only not in danger, but not in a toxic situation. Is that something you implement with all of your companies as well?
Yeah, so most of my companies are intertwined, and the women run the show, and they're the ones that execute within our companies. But ultimately, to me, I just need very blunt, open communication amongst the teams. So we have group chats for everything. We have a group chat for every event, group chat for every charity, group chat for every business, group chat for everything. And it allows everyone to talk openly about, I'm doing this, I need this, hey, can you do this? You didn't do this, I need you to do this. Like, I don't do like the backhanded email threads like, per my last email. We don't do that. It's very, very straightforward in group chats of like, everyone's talking, everyone's showcasing pictures, everyone's saying the good, the bad, the ugly, every problem, everything has to be open. And by having this very open line of communication, I showcase every part of my world with the people for every event, charity, business, whatever. And it makes them feel more comfortable to talk with each other and hash things out quicker. Because again, there's going to be problems, there's going to be situations, but they can talk it out very quickly rather than, oh, I don't really know that person because I don't talk to them. Or I don't really know if I can say that to them because I don't want to tell them the bad stuff or the problem. Everyone's in the group chat, from the person helping that's an assistant volunteer and to the CEO. Like, everyone's involved. And so by having that open line of communication, it makes things more efficient.
Awesome. Do you feel like you still learn something every day?
I try to. I mean, I'm talking with so many people so often. I'm doing 800 texts a day, interacting with a lot of humans. And because of that, I ask questions a lot. Now, whether I listen to that person or I trust in that person or they have the experience for it, I'm asking questions all the time to hear and understand it and understand why people are thinking that. And so I'm constantly trying to learn, but I'm only taking the true suggestion from someone that really did it at a level that Yesterday I asked a question. I had 600 comments asking about, in the delivery room, does the mom want the husband to look under the sheet? And then I asked the guys, I said, well, do you want to look at when the baby's coming out? And it's not that I'm going to change my outlook on it, but I want to hear why women think that it's okay, why they say, no, don't look down there, why they say, yes, you for sure should do it, and then watching and listening to the responses. Not necessarily to sway me differently from, ultimately it's just whatever Erica wants, whatever she wants is what I'm going to do. And so it's fascinating because I was learning more about humans. So many of the comments were telling me what I had to do. Mm-hmm. You have to do it this way. This is the only way to do it. You will regret if you don't do this. You have to do this. And I was just learning about human psychology, less than the actual answers themselves, about just the way people were writing these full speeches about what I have to do. Mm-hmm. They're telling me what I have to do in a delivery room. Right.
A stranger.
My only job in the delivery room is to be a support system, right? And so I do that often. I do these questions every single week, and it's fascinating to see the responses. But then when I'm in rooms with people that are really good at a certain category, I don't want to talk. I want to ask questions. You can't learn a lot when you're talking.
Sure.
And so I am constantly asking questions. So if I'm in a room and there's a tax strategist, why the hell would I say anything? Did I talk much yesterday? I just listen. What am I going to say? I want to hear what he's talking about for taxes. I'm not going to. When someone's an expert in a category, I want to listen and learn. I don't really need to say much because I'm not going to learn anything when I'm talking.
Great advice. A lot of times people are trying to be the smartest person and improve themselves, and I think there's so much more to learn when you're, especially in rooms like this where everybody has something different that they're good at. What are you most excited about right now going into the future?
Oh, the baby.
Aside from the baby. No comparison there. She's always going to be number one.
The events are really fun, and watching it compound, we're growing it in a really big way. And that allows me to bring in a lot more people to invest into companies, invest into deals. Every month now I'm raising money for a different deal. And those companies go on to hire hundreds of employees. They go on to get bigger and bigger in their categories. And so for me, it's just the game is getting more and more, it compounds. As the events grow, as the masterminds grow, as the investments grow, as the businesses grow, everything compounds and it allows me to do my charities faster and faster. When we raised money for Eddie Wilson for his charity on Thursday, it was like an hour. So what happens next year? What happens in 3 years? Like what happens when that room is, instead of 600 people, it's 6,000? Like what can we do for society? And so just everything is compounding from a math perspective of humans and capital. And so that's what I'm excited about, is that it's working, it's clicking, we're seeing it, and I'm getting more and more efficient on each thing so that when I want to raise money for his orphanage, or I want to raise money for a coffee company, or I want to raise money for whatever, I can do it in a very efficient manner.
Awesome. For everyone here who wants to get involved in some of the stuff that you've talked about today, how would they do that? How would they reach out or find out what you're doing and figure out where they can plug in it?
Everything's just on my social. I'm an open book on social media and showcasing every aspect of everything. And then when I post these things, I link to the websites or the social media platforms, or mostly I'm just showing you how to do it in your own world. You don't necessarily need to go to that charity or that event or that thing. You'll be able to do it in your own hometown or with your own friends. But yeah, I showcase it often, and I will repost things from before to show updates on it. That way it's fresh in people's minds, or for any new followers, they'll get to see it. But yeah, on social media is the best.
Awesome. And last question, how or what would you hope that everybody in this room takes from our conversation and from this event?
Having blunt communication will fix a lot of things in your life. It will prevent a lot of issues in your households, in your offices, everywhere.
Awesome. My grandkids are going to start signing contracts now.
Yeah.
'Cause they ask me for Robux all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to start getting some floors swept. Well, thank you for coming. Thank you, Dan Fleyshman.
Wow.